Hey student, watch this video and learn 3 idioms with the word point. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on another lesson. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing because from Monday to Friday, I post different kinds of English lessons, grammar, vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms like today, listening tips, speaking tips, daily routine exercises, study tips, because I want to make sure that you become a better and more confident English speaker. So consider subscribing or sharing this video with your friends because that way you help the channel grow. Anyways, my friends, let's dive into the content. Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 idioms, well, expressions, with the word point. Now, guys, there are many different expressions with the word point, okay? I'm gonna be showing you 3 because, as I always like to emphasize, quality is better than quantity. That's why I'm going to be showing you 3. But maybe in a future video, if you enjoy the word point, I can make more videos and show you more expressions with points. So here we go. The first one, to miss the point. When you say to someone, hey, you are missing the point, this means that you are explaining something, you are talking to someone about something, but the person doesn't understand, or maybe the person is not following what you are trying to say. Maybe the person is following another thing. Maybe the person can understand a different thing. That is wrong. That is not what you want the person to understand. So maybe you give a very important explanation, the reason why something happened, and then when you ask the person if everything is okay, the person confuses everything. So you look at the person and say, no, 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 no. You're missing the point. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, so this is a very common expression. So when you miss the point, if you miss the point, it means that you couldn't understand. You failed to understand. Okay, now when I say understand, I'm not just talking about an explanation. Oh, did you understand the difference between these phrasal verbs? No, teacher, I'm missing the point. Well, you could. Usually, when we use the expression missing the point, these are for more important things, maybe in a conversation, a discussion, an idea, not necessarily like a grammar lesson, okay? Like I explained to you how to use present perfect, and then you say, okay, I'm missing the point. No, it could happen, but that's not the idea, okay? So when someone doesn't understand the main point, the main idea of something you said, the big picture, the big idea of what you were trying to say, then you say that the person is missing the point. Here are some examples. Hey Peter, I know what you're telling me is true, okay, but you're missing the point. What I'm trying to do is create a new process. I don't want to keep the old one. So maybe I was with a colleague at work, and me and my colleague and I were having a conversation about a process, about the company's process, the flow of a process and something. But then I explained to my colleague that we are going to start a new process, create a new process, but my friend doesn't understand and he thinks that we are going to continue with the old one. Then I can look at my friend and say, no, 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 no. You're missing the point. I know your idea is true. The old system is good, but we are going to create a new one. We're going to create a new process, okay? Another example. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying? Or are you missing my point? Okay, so maybe I'm talking about something very complicated, and then I can pause and I can say, hey, are you following me? Are you getting what I'm saying? Or are you missing my point? Or you are having problems to understand what I'm saying? Okay, another example. maybe I gave an explanation about a story, about something important, and then I look at your face and you say something that was confusing. So I can look at you and say, hey, I guess you missed the point. Let me explain this again. Okay, so maybe you explained something very complex, and the person, after you finished, the person started speaking very confusing things, and you're like, oh, sweetie, you missed the point. Let me explain again. Okay? Final example. Hey, I think you missed the point. I am on your side. I'm your friend. I'm on your side. I just don't agree with the way you handle the situation. So maybe my friend is angry at me. He understands that I am not on his side, that I don't believe him, that I don't agree with him, that I think he's wrong. But no, you missed the point. I am on your side. I'm your friend. But I don't agree with the way you handle the situation. All right? Moving on. Make one's point. So, when you make one's point, you explain something very clearly. You express your idea, your opinion very clearly, very convincingly, okay? So maybe we are in a discussion. Let's imagine you are with your friends and you are debating, okay? You are having a debate about global warming, okay? And everybody's having a discussion about global warming. You finished expressing your opinion about global point. Global point. Global warming. So then the moderator, the person who manages the discussion, the debate, can look at you and say, okay, you made your point. Andrew, thank you very much. But now it's Priscilla's turn to tell us what she thinks. So I am participating in a debate, and then I listen to my friend Andrew, and he made his point. You know, he expressed his opinion, his idea very clearly, very well. But now it's my turn to make my point, to express my idea, to express my opinion. Okay? So this is a very common phrase, idiom. Next example. Our manager made his point. So our manager expressed his idea. He explained what he wants, what he believes, his opinion, his argument. So I think he's right. We should recalculate the costs. Okay? So he made his point. I think he's right. So we should recalculate the costs. Now, why am I giving some business scenarios? Because many English learners believe that these idioms, they are only used in informal situations. Not necessarily. If you find a good business scenario, you can. So here, maybe I can imagine that I am talking to my colleague at work, and after a meeting with the manager, I talk to my colleague, you know what? Our manager made his point. I think he's right. We should recalculate the costs. So here I'm saying that my manager expressed his opinion very well. So he's right. I believe he's right. We should recalculate the costs of whatever it is that they're recalculating. So always think of situations. That's why I like to give you examples so that you can better understand how to use these phrasal verbs and these idioms. And another thing, that's why I explain the examples. I tell you a story because I want you to understand the expression, to understand the idiom. I could just read the example and go to the next idiom. But no, I want you to imagine the conversation, to hear the conversation in your head, to feel connected with the explanation. So if you enjoy this kind of lesson where I give you examples, explanations that involves you, you know, when my explanation involves you, hey, make sure to hit the like button. That way I know that you enjoy this kind of lesson and that you want to learn more about idioms and expressions and phrasal verbs. Moving on. Last expression of the night. This is actually a question, but again, there are many uses for this, okay? There are variations. with this expression, but I decided to use it as a question. What's the point? I forgot the question mark, but it's a question. What's the point? Guys, if someone uses this with you, it's not good, okay? It's a negative situation. What is that supposed to mean? Oh boy. There's a fly. I'm really afraid of things that fly, so I have to finish this video. Okay, let's go. So, when you are in a conversation and you say this to someone, this means that you don't know if what the person said is good or is right or has any reason, has any purpose, has any use. This is usually a criticism, a negative comment or question. Let me show you examples because the examples will make this clear, okay? So here I have a conversation. I actually have one example only. Here, conversation between Peter and Jack. And Jack had a problem with his girlfriend, okay? So let's imagine the following situation. Jack has a problem with his friend. You know what, Marciano, I don't know, whatever it is. This is a lesson. This is not a Q&A, okay? So focus on the lesson. Anyways, so Peter is talking to Jack about a problem because Jack is upset because he had a problem with his girlfriend. So then Peter suggests, hey, Jack, call Susie again. She will listen to you, maybe, she may listen to you. Then Jack looks at Peter and says, what's the point? What's the reason? Why call Susie again? She's angry at me. So that's the idea of this what's the point. You are in a conversation, someone tells you something, and you don't believe that thing is useful, helpful. You don't believe there is a purpose. You don't believe there is a reason to do that thing or to believe that thing the other person said to you. So when Peter tells Jack, hey Jack, well, I know Susie's angry, but call her again. She may listen to you this time. Maybe she's a little calmer. Maybe she's a little less stressed and more relaxed. So hey, try again. And then Jack looks at Peter. Peter, what's the point? She's angry. I called her 1,000,000 times. Why is she going to answer now? So that's the idea of what's the point, okay? Usually there are other, as I said, there are variations, okay? You can use it as an affirmative sentence, there is no point, and then you continue explaining there is no point in what, But what's the point is usually when you question someone, but it's more like in a way to criticize because you don't believe there is a reason. You don't believe there is something that is going to come out of that. Okay? Very well. Let's see. Now, I got a question for you guys. I want you to come back here in the comments and share with me your favorite idiom from this lesson, okay? Not just your general favorite idiom. Come back here in the comments. Let me know your favorite idiom from this lesson. If possible, create an example. And remember, tomorrow is our Halloween live. It's going to be a little different, so make sure to check it out. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. São Paulo, Brazil time, okay? Thank you so much, my friends, and I will see you tomorrow for another lesson, a spooky lesson. Bye-bye.